Recently, a YouTuber who went for a time by the username of Tony48219 firstly shot dead a young college girl and then killed himself.
But some people have made the argument that we should have seen it coming, or that this is what fundamental Christians are like. This is what fundamental Christianity leads us to, this type of behavior. And I think that's very unfair. It would be very unfair if I said, hey, yep, that's what happens when you're an atheist. You become a murderer,
What, you mean like Kent Hovind blaming the Columbine shooting on evolution?
They shot Cassie just because she believed in God. Same thing with Rachel. What happened? Why would somebody do this? What's going on in our thinking? Well, the newspaper article in Columbine High School said, the clothes may give a clue to the thinking of these teenagers. The autopsy said one of the boys' shirts said natural selection on the front. Interesting. Textbooks used in Escambia County, Florida, this textbook, says evolution and natural selection go together. This textbook says natural selection causes evolution. Well, just what is this natural selection? Oh, you see, Adolf Hitler thought he would speed up the process by eliminating the inferiors. Hitler honestly thought he was doing the world a favor. So did Joseph Stalin.
Yes, it is rather unfair to take a single event with hundreds of significant factors and attribute all the actions to one specific factor. Indeed, I would point this out as a common theme in the libertarian/laissez-faire capitalism advocates whose scorn I seem to have attracted recently. They will take any problem, no matter how convoluted, and cite government intervention as the ill of all problems. Sorry boys, life is just not that simple, and obviously so. If it really were that simple, everyone, or at least all economists, would be libertarians. Indeed, one of the few things that you can say with considerable surety is that all of your conclusions about complex emergent behaviors are always the same simple answer, then it is more likely that you're looking at confirmational bias rather than a true understanding of the problem. A simple analogy would be to ascribe all illnesses to too much bad blood. After all, in every single illness, the individual has a lot of blood. Or creationists attributing everything bad that happens in society to the teaching of evolution. After all, a lot of bad things have happened since we started teaching evolution. Tony suffered from clinical depression. Tony had many character attributes that would raise an eyebrow as being unnormal. He had several accounts suspended by YouTube, and he also posted on this channel on a semi-regular basis. However, while such events are always tragic for the individual, and especially those closely affected by them, such events raise points of wider concern for the conduct of the community. That is to say, our conduct.
Yoke Up and all the other types of people on YouTube, people can say, oh, well, he deserves it. And it's easy to deem what someone deserves and what someone doesn't. But you know what? People don't deserve the hate. They deserve respect. They deserve decency. We should be respectful to them. We should not be hateful. Like I said, disagreeing politely is okay. Being respectful is what we should do.
Well, here I disagree with Jesus Freak, as you clearly do in pretty much your next video entitled The Amazing Butthole Strikes Again, in which you rail against the amazing atheist.
And you're disgusting to even imply it. And TJ, you're even just as much disgusting. You're a damn liar. That you would be so dishonest that you would put that type of drivel onto your YouTube page, and then you change your description box.
Personally, I would advocate your latter position. If someone says something you find demonstrably wrong, immoral, or stupid, you should have no obligation to soften your words in an open forum. Although frequently, over-emotional and over-angry rants will tend to lose impact on a rational audience.
Don't give me this fucking retarded bullshit about love or about what the words of Jesus mean, because you don't know a goddamn fucking thing. You're too much of a goddamn retarded asshole, every single one of you on this list, to know what the fuck is...
Unfortunately, for an independent observer, it is frequently difficult to tell the difference between the deeply religious, those pretending to be deeply religious, and those who are mentally unhinged. Take, for instance, the utterly repulsive person of Venomfang X, since rebranded Poster Boy for Creationist Stupidity, or PCS. Is he deeply religious due to his mental issues, or are his mental issues exacerbated by his religion? And no, I don't hold this to be a contentious issue. I mean, this is not normal. And believe it or not, for reasons like this, I have, on compassionate grounds, actually backed off or held back a couple of times from delivering what I would have seen as a well-deserved metaphorical bitch slap. Nightvisionphantom is another who is very vocal on the Category 5 stupid statements. However, the warning signs here are a little more evident.
I've cried many tears and had many bad thoughts go through my head lately, and I do kind of feel that I'm reaching my breaking point. And I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to wind up, calling the suicide hotline or anything like that, because they'll just tell me the same crap I've heard before, too. But I can't find any purpose in my life. They say God has a plan for everybody, and everybody,
Most theatres have rules of engagement to, among other things, protect the innocent and ensure that the forum is fit for purpose. I would strongly advocate that if you enter the open forum of free speech, then you do so at your own risk. This should be made significantly more conspicuous to the younger members of the community. Free speech is a no-holds-barred arena. It is my opinion that the plea to emotion simply cannot be allowed as a universal defence to silence free speech. I mean, let's take a look at PCS, the master of emotional manipulation. I mean, remember his hate video, the core message of which was, feel sympathy for me and leave me alone, and if you don't, then the only possible reason for this is because of your hateful and evil nature.
But for those of you who have donated your YouTube career to trying to defame me, make fun of me, make fun of Christians, and hate people, and to remove people's hope and love, all I can say is, I don't even have to say anything. The fact is, I'm trying to proclaim the truth of God and the gospel of Jesus Christ, to give people hope and love, and I'm trying to support charities to give people in need. The fact is, you, on the other hand, are only trying to hate me, and hate people, and discourage people. That's all you do, is hate, and hate, and hate. Keep your mouth shut. And that is what Jesus, told us to do.
Or his recent comment on Tony, where he basically spends 10 minutes trying to distance himself from his biggest fan.
Hi there, everyone out there on YouTube. This video is concerning Tony48219. He was a user.
Yeah, sure, you were so choked up about this murder-suicide by one of your strongest YouTube supporters that you couldn't keep your emotions under control for the first few seconds, even though after that you deliver the rest of the video effectively flawlessly. And then after all that, you didn't elect to simply edit the emotional appeal out. No, if the appeal to emotion is allowed as a defense, then it will be exploited by many, and free speech will be limited, and the worth of the open forum will be diminished for everyone. Yes, this does mean that if you are mentally unbalanced in the open forum, then you may well receive a lot of attention unproductive to your mental state. However, I do not think that you should always have to walk on eggshells on the presumption that everyone you pass a comment about could be either suicidal or homicidal. It is my personal opinion that, bar significant intellectual property abuse and some legal concerns, that an open forum should be open, and that users should be made clearly aware of the fact that if you thrust yourself into the open forum, you may not like what people have to say about you or your ideas, and that the only thing preventing the sadistic metaphorical curb stomp is the compassion of the society of users, tethered of course by the biological leash. Similarly, if you attend an open forum, you may well find aspects of humanity you find repulsive. I think it is far more healthy for the operational effectiveness of mankind to obtain a vivid impression of what it is and what it is capable of, rather than to deny the various grotesqueries that you would rather didn't exist.
Falaise earned the name of the killing ground. The carnage and destruction were appalling. Eisenhower visited the battlefield and wrote, "It was literally possible to walk for hundreds of yards at a time, stepping on nothing but dead and decaying flesh."